Hi, I'm Anna Schrimmer. I'm a family consumer science educator for K-State.
Hello, my name's Cody Miller, and I'm an Ag and Natural Resources Extension Agent with the Phillips-Rooks Extension District.
As an extension educator, we help people live better lives by helping them improve essential life skills, such as the Dutch oven cooking class that we're going to be doing this morning.
Learning to cook in a Dutch oven can be a bit intimidating. After all, they can be heavy, kind of messy, and the cooking style involves a little bit of math.
Actually, Cody, the Dutch oven is one of the most versatile ways to cook. You can actually fry, such as frying donuts. You can saute, cook hamburger in it. You can bake, like what we're doing, the peach cobbler today. You can stew, like we're making the hamburger potato casserole. You can roast, or you can slow cook in it. So it's a kitchen within itself.
A pot for every occasion,
yes.
Basically. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is preparing the coals, or your heat source, for the cooking process. Today we're using charcoal as the heat source. You can use other sources of heat, such as burnt wood, but the take-home message is you're going to be wanting to use the charcoal or the briquettes once the wood has burnt down. There's a couple of different ways that you can start your charcoal, and here I have what we have is a charcoal chimney, a chimney starter. The way that you use this is underneath you place a crumbled up newspaper or any kind of flammable material. You place that underneath. You put your charcoal in on top of that, and then you light the newspaper. In about 15 minutes approximately, you'll have hot coals. The other way, just for demonstration purposes, I piled up charcoal in a pile, in a pyramid, and you can use lighter fluid over the top of that, and you can start that, and same thing, about 15 minutes later, you'll have your warm coals to use. At this time, we're going to move over and we're going to show you how to prepare the Dutch oven for the cooking process. Here we have a 12-inch Lodge Dutch oven. And we're actually cooking in 10-inch ovens that we have cooking here. But you notice some of the features about the oven. On the bottom, it has the legs that allow you to put the charcoal underneath of it. And on top, it has the flanged lid that allows you to place the coals on top of it so they don't roll off. As you're cooking, you're going to need heat source from both the top and the bottom. The more that you use your Dutch oven, the better it's going to be. And with this, one of the things that you do is use a source that is like a vegetable oil or some kind of an oil. Basically place this in a warm Dutch oven and basically smear that around with a paper towel. And the more that you use it, the better that the oven is going to be.
Okay, now we're getting ready to go ahead and fill this Dutch oven. And with all food safety, you want to make sure your hands are clean. But if you're out camping somewhere or at a tailgate and there's a limited source of water to wash your hands for the 20 seconds, soap them and wash them like you should. You can also always have the plastic gloves that work just as well. And you want to use your plastic gloves, especially if you're handling meat. So for this, we are making peach cobbler. This is a very simple recipe. Cody has already got the pan ready to go. You can also use liners if you would like. That makes cleanup much easier, but sometimes if you don't have a liner on hand, the Dutch oven works very well. The first thing is you want to add your peaches. And it calls for 2 large cans of peaches. Now these are sliced or pieces. I ended up getting both, either pieces or sliced. And you use the juice and everything and kind of make sure they're evenly distributed. And then you're going to sprinkle the cake mix on top. And again, just like the peaches, you want to make sure it's evenly distributed on top so you don't have one thick part. And then we need cinnamon. It's in there. Okay, then we're going to add cinnamon. And cinnamon, there's not necessarily a teaspoon, a tablespoon, it's kind of to taste. Sometimes we put cinnamon right on top of the peaches, sometimes it's just on top of the cake mix, but it just kind of depends on how much cinnamon you like. And then sometimes when you go camping or tailgating, you'll want to already have some things prepared, such as the butter. I've already gone ahead and chopped up the butter. You want it cubed, and try to cube it in as even pieces as possible, because then it will melt more evenly and distribute it evenly over. Now that's one of the things when you are tailgating or camping. A lot of things can be done at home, and then especially if you're way out in the wilderness or if you're kayaking down the river, you come back, you have a lot of that already pre-done, and it doesn't take near as long then to get it actually cooking. This recipe is so simple. It's one of I know Cody's family's favorite, and my family loved peach cobbler also. So then once you have your butter distributed evenly, then you're ready to put your lid on your pot. We'll be ready to see if the coals are ready, hot, and to put on the pot, and we'll be returning with showing how to put the coals on top, how to put the coals underneath, how many you need, and we'll also be talking more about food safety when we return.
$10,000 in 10, but give 50.
With 7 agents and 3 locations, Hammett Land and Auction Incorporated can meet your every need when it comes to your next sale. Visit them at hammettauction.com and you'll find all their upcoming sales, including farms, ranches, as well as farm equipment and even real estate listings, both residential and commercial. They've been serving western Kansas since 1983, and with offices in Stockton, Russell, and Hayes, they're always nearby to assist you. Hammett Land and Auction Incorporated. Contact them today.
$25 would get $21,000.
Norton County Hospital would like to welcome Dr. Todd Pankratz, an OBGYN who is now accepting patients. This means women can receive local specialized care for high-risk pregnancies, infertility, medical weight loss, and various surgeries. With Dr. Pankratz and on-staff physicians, the hospital hopes to serve as a premier facility for women's health care, and this care extends to the entire family as more than 60 babies are welcomed here each year. The Norton County Hospital, dedicated to caring, commitment, and community.
Your house is more than just a house. It's a home for your family to grow. It's a place where you feel the most comfortable and can be yourself. Shop at Paul's Furniture Company in Selden so your family can select the perfect pieces for all the rooms in your house. With over 17,000 square feet of selection, they are sure to have the styles that will please everyone, even the kids. Visit Paul's Furniture Company in Selden, where they'll help you feel at home. Visit us online at paulsfurnitureco.com.
Welcome back. In the first session we started the coals, our charcoal, and at this time it is ready to place on our oven. We also talked about seasoning or putting the oil in the pan and showed you how to do that. As well, Anna prepared the lazy peach cobbler that we're cooking here today. At this time we're going to go ahead and show you how to place your coals. Again, the coals are ready out of our charcoal, the starter, or again, if you do not have a charcoal chimney starter, you can use the pyramid method and get by just fine with that. But basically, you're going to place part of your coals on the bottom, and we'll get to a diagram of showing you how many coals a person needs to maintain the temperature here in just a little bit. But again, I'm using, there's some equipment that a person might want to invest in. Now, you can be as advanced in this as you'd like, or you can just get by with the bare necessities. If you're first starting out, I recommend that you just purchase an oven and go by with the lighter stuff, and as time evolves, you can certainly advance as far as you'd like. What I've done here is I've placed the coals on the bottom of that. We're just going to place the pot on top of those coals, and then we're going to put the rest of the coals on top. Again, the nice feature about these camp ovens like this is it has the flange lid that allow the coals to stay on top of the oven. And you're going to just place them around, disperse that evenly, roughly, and let the coals do the cooking in this regards. Again, some of the equipment that you can use is a lid lifter. That will keep you away from the pot, and there's different styles. This is just one that Lodge makes. As well, as you've seen me use the tongs, these are essential in helping place the coals. And as you can see, I also have some thick gloves or welding gloves, and that's just for a safety aspect as well. At this time, we're going to come back over, and Anna's going to talk a little bit more about food safety.
Now, when you're getting ready to go camping or to a K-State football game and you're going to be tailgating, you'll want to make sure that you have your food safely kept in cold. If it's supposed to be cold, or if it's hot, it needs to be hot. Most of the time when you first arrive, you're going to have your food cold. Now, I have two different ice chests here. One is for drinks and one is to hold your perishable food like meat. The meat one you want to keep as cold as possible until it's ready to cook. Also, do not bring any more meat than what it is that you're going to be cooking that day, because you won't be able to keep it cold enough if you don't use it all, and you'd have to throw it away. So don't plan on cooking for 20 people when 3 are going to be there. So plan out how many hamburgers, how big a casserole dish you're going to be making, so that you won't be having to throw food away at the end of the day. Now, if you do have a place that you can keep food cold, then for several hours you can go ahead and keep it. But to be safe, it's best you do not want your food out longer than 2 hours, accumulative. That means you have it out at 1 o'clock to eat and it's out till 3 o'clock, you want to throw it away. So it should not be out any longer than that. Now, as I said, I have two ice chests here. One of these ice chests is for your drinks, because people are going to be getting in and out of this cooler all the time. Every time you open that lid, the cold air is coming out, the hot air is going in. So that reduces the temperature. And then I have another ice chest here that I have covered up. A lot of times I use a towel, or I'll get a bathroom rug and throw over it. A lot of times I also wrap it in plastic. And then when you're ready to cook your meat, you can unzip it, and then you can go ahead and get your meat out. And you want to have it thawed and ahead of time, unless you're going someplace and you're not going to use it for a couple days, then you want to pack it frozen. Now, ice, most people get ice that is crushed, and so if you want it for a longer period of time, freeze ice and into a chunk. That will last longer. If it's going to be for a long period of time, you can use dry ice. But you want to make sure you keep your cold food cold and hot food hot. So what you want to look for in a Dutch oven is you want to look to make sure that it is good quality, and of course if you get good quality it's probably going to cost a little bit more, but you don't want any nicks. You don't want any little, what do you call those?
Pits.
Pits. I couldn't think of that word, pits, in it too, because those will rust out and your food will stay in there. Also, there's two different kinds. You have a deep or you have a shallow. Shallow is known as the bread Dutch oven, and because where the food is and the lid, if it's too far away, it has a tendency not to brown like it should. So the bread is usually thinner, and so the more shallow the Dutch oven, that's why they call it bread. Now the deeper ones, especially like the ones that Cody has down here, They are used more for stews and for casseroles and for cooking with liquid. We have, I think that's the next thing we're going to be doing is looking at what food we have already done here.
Yeah, so before we get to that, as I alluded to earlier, I was going to talk about how many coals it takes to maintain a temperature. And on these, again, we're cooking with a 10-inch oven on both of these here, as well as we've got a 12-inch that we prepared the cobbler in. A lot of your ingredients or recipes, they're going to call for a temperature of approximately 350 degrees. And a quick, easy way to determine how many briquettes you're going to need to reach that 350 degrees is simply take the diameter of the pot that you're using and multiply that by 2 or double it. So for a 10-inch oven, roughly at 350 degrees, you're going to need about 20 briquettes to cook with. On a 12-inch, roughly about 24, and so on up the scale. Now that's going to get you relatively close, and we've included a chart that will show that. On the briquettes as well, as your heat is going to rise, you're going to place briquettes underneath as well as on top of it. So again, refer to the chart that we've included for that. While you're cooking, there's also, your pot could create what we call hot spots. So what you're going to want to do is actually rotate the oven while we're cooking on it. So again, I've got my gloves that I put on, and you can either use just the gloves for picking up the bail. That's what the ring on top's called, the bail. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to rotate your pot, and that's roughly about every 10-15 minutes, give or take, and depending on the heat source that you're using. So you're going to want to rotate this pot approximately a half a turn, a quarter of a turn, so forth, in one direction. And then you're going to want to rotate the lid in another direction. Again, that's just so you have even distribution of heat and you don't develop hot spots in your pot while you're cooking and end up with burnt food. Now, when we come back, we're going to conclude. The food should be ready at that time and ready to eat as well. We're going to look at cleaning the Dutch oven and what you need to do for storage and getting ready to use these ovens for the next time when you want to use them.
Western Auction and Real Estate LLC is ready to travel to you. Their team includes auctioneers and real estate specialists that will exceed your expectations. They offer experience in agriculture real estate, commercial and residential sales, and farm equipment auctions. Plus, they conveniently travel to your location. And it doesn't stop there. Visit westernauctionandrealestate.com today to shop their online equipment auctions too. For professionalism from concept to completion, it's Western Auction and Real Estate.
Make moving and storing your home or business easy with storage solutions of Hayes and Victoria. With 2 facilities, they can store anything from antiques to automobiles and everything in between. Interior units for items needing special care. Drive-up units of all sizes, perfect for home or business. And outside storage for trucks, boats, and RVs. As an authorized U-Haul dealer, they have everything for your next move, across town or across the country. Storage solutions of Hayes and Victoria, making moving and storing easy.
Here in the Heartland, we make things homemade with precision and care. Robin Insurance is no different. Their family creates tailored plans to keep your family safe. They are a family-owned and operated agency that also offers commercial, farm, and crop insurance. With quick, fair claims, your matter will be held professionally and with excellent customer service. Robin Insurance, the corner post of insurance since 1936. See their ad in the Nex-Tech directory.
Okay, we're back with the Dutch oven cooking, and we have talked about food safety. We've talked about getting your coals ready. We've talked about what type of equipment that you need to use. Right now we're going to talk about how do you know when your food is done. And a lot of times you have a recipe and it says to cook for approximately 45 minutes. That's what the peach cobbler recommends. But also, the more you do, the more experience you'll have, and you can tell by looking. at your recipe, and also by using a thermometer, which we'll mention here in a little bit.
As Anna alluded to, the heat outside, if it's cooler, it's going to take longer. If it's warmer, not as long. Also humidity, moisture, all those things come into play. And the longer that you use the Dutch ovens, the more comfortable you're going to get and be able to adjust those recipes how they call. There is one thing, when I purchased my Dutch oven for the first time, it came with a nice booklet, and a lot of these do come with instructional booklets, or you can obtain them. Again, this is just a Camp Dutch Oven Cooking 101. After you're done cooking with the ovens and the food is ready and you've got everybody served, you're going to want to go through cleaning the oven. And this is very important so the food doesn't get rancid or stick to the pot. And the more that you take care of your pot, the longer it's going to last. So a person, what they can do, don't worry about getting too rough with the oven. That's what's nice about the cast iron. It's very durable. Again, once you're done with this, try to chip off any of the food that is stuck on there. Rinse it out with warm water and use a soft bristled brush to basically remove any of the other food that's on there. You don't want to use soap on the oven because that will take the seasoning off of it. And again, the more that you cook with the oven, it's going to just season the pot as you're cooking. Now, one thing, if you ever develop a metallic or a rusty kind of a taste, or you get a rancid odor to your pot, then it's probably time to strip the pot down with warm soapy water and go through the seasoning process again. Again, you can use vegetable oil and get your pot warm, coat it with vegetable oil, and you can stick it in the oven and let that seasoning take place. Anna's going to talk about storage of your ovens at this time.
Storage, obviously it is a metal and it can rust, so you want to make sure it's dry before you put it away. And also these lids are very tight, and they're supposed to be tight so that they hold the heat in. To keep that from getting rusty or from developing the rancid flavor, it needs to get air. To do that, you can take paper towels and fold it up into strips. And I have 4 of them here. And then you just put your lid up and your strips, and that allows enough air to get in there so that it will keep your pot from becoming too, or getting liquid in there and rusty. I think, is our food ready to eat?
You bet, Anna. Let's take a look here. Before we do so, just real quick, one thing that some people have showed me as you're cooking with these ovens, if you're limited on space, that is what's very neat about these ovens. They're very versatile. And as you're cooking here, you can even stack your ovens on top of each other. So basically you're using the coals from the bottom oven, and then you place coals on top of that and you can stack those up. That's really neat when you have, say, a 12-inch oven on the bottom and you have the 10-inch ovens on top of there. So at this time, what we're going to do is we're going to check our finished products. And again, we have our hamburger potato casserole here. We're going to use the lid lifter, and we're going to insert the thermometer. Again, it's important for food safety to check where we're at. And also, you want to be careful when you lift the lid that you don't get any ashes in the food. Believe it or not, it does not add to the flavor. So we'll insert the thermometer in there. And Anna, what temperature should these be at?
For beef, it should be 140 degrees, and if it's chicken, that's different. You want to have it up to 165 degrees. So is it 140?
We are there, Anna.
Okay.
We're actually over that a little bit. So
we are ready to chow down.
All right. I can get some assistance on this one.
And this is the hamburger potato casserole, and it smells wonderful.
And it's a very easy recipe that you can do Basically, again, we put the potatoes on the bottom, chunked them up, put them on the bottom, we broke the hamburger over that, and then we poured the cream of mushroom soup, the vegetable beef soup on top of that, put some salt and pepper, placed the onions on top of it. So that was with our hamburger potato casserole, and at this time we'll move over to our lazy peach cobbler that we have prepared. And again, the more you use these pots, the more that you're going to get used to the cooking times, techniques, etc. So don't be afraid to try new things. And if you'd like to serve this with ice cream or cream, it's certainly very delicious in that regard. So.
Now, one of the things too, I think we failed to mention, let's say we're ready to eat, or we're not ready to eat, you can put them over just to the side of your coals and you're ready to go. I'm Anna Schrimmer.
And I'm Cody Miller with K-State Research and Extension, the Phillips Rooks Extension District. For more information on this and other topics, contact your local Extension office.